Hey everybody, this is Lucas Hennigan, aka Maskus. I'm here on GoatFormat.com, and I'm presenting you a Goat Format duel review. Today we're going to be watching a duel between Alan Pennington and Shining Blue Eyes. So let's just hop into it here. Okay. So I believe Alan goes second here. We're watching the duel from Alan's perspective, by the way. And he opens up a hand of MST, Meta, Mirror, Skilled White, Saku. So it's a pretty not very reactive hand. Let's see what he gets here. I really like Skilled White Magician in the format as a light monster. It serves kind of the same purpose that Shining Angel does, where it's a light monster that can like get battle traps out of the way just because it can pressure the opponent by attacking. But what it does is that it sacrifices its ability to float in Shining Angel there for just more attack power. It's able to kill more things than Shining Angel is. Like, it's able to kill most of the Goat deck's like main attackers, stuff like Breaker and Tribe. While it also gets to defend against Air Knight. You can set this, and then if they attack with Air Knight, it sort of just walls it. So it's got pretty good defense as well. So I like it as a light monster option. If you're looking to play like a light monster in your Goat deck just to facilitate chaos, or if you're trying to run a chaos deck as well. Alan is on a chaos deck list. I think he is just teching one of these Skilled White Magicians here. So his opponent, Shining Blue Eyes, just T-sets here. Pretty standard opening. Alan thankfully draws the knock here. So what he's going to be able to do is he's going to be able to summon the Skilled White here and then use Nobleman across out. And what this also does is that Skilled White gets a counter every time a spell card is activated. And if you have 3 spell cards on, or 3 spell counters on Skilled White Magician, you're going to be able to sacrifice it, and then you could special summon a Buster Blader from your deck. Now, most people don't play Buster Blader, but you can, in Goat format, actually use its ability to sacrifice itself and then fail to find. And this is actually relevant because you can tribute your Skilled White Magician to make your Chaos live. And so he uses the Nobleman here, and he gets Magician of Faith. Nobleman on Magician of Faith is always pretty good because you just basically make the game a little bit more fair. It means that your opponent's not going to be able to use like a Tsukiyomi lock on you. Now, the fact that he set the Magician of Faith here is sort of a tell. It means that this might have been something like a spell card to like a Book of Moon or something, because he could have Book of Moon the attacker and then would have been able to flip it with Magician of Faith and get the Book of Moon back. So would have just been able to resolve the Faith there. And now Alan goes ahead and sets his MST, which is chainable, which is always good to set here, and then a Sakuretsu armor just in case anything funky happens and that this Skilled White doesn't survive for whatever reason. Shining Blue, or he's going to try to attack the Skilled White is what I mean. Shining Blue Eyes just sets that card and passes just an MST that hits a Nobleman. And here we go with attacks. Not really much else to do, so just set the Mirror Force here. And 2 more sets for Shining Blue Eyes. One of them is probably Battle Trap, which is the Mirror Force here. Guess so Alan said that he was thinking on that play for the Mirror Force. He might have just been trying to present like a bluff to his opponent, thinking that he might have like a Book of Moon or something to protect it. He goes in and sets the Scapegoat anyway. Now he has at least a chainable down. Opponent sets a monster, and Alan flips up the goats because he has Metamorph already in his hand. He draws in the Thunder Dragon, which is great because now he's going to be able to take this this face down here, and if he wants to, he can sacrifice this this Thousand Eyes here for Thunder Dragon, and then just go ahead and attack. So he gets Morphing Jar out of this, which is always good. Sometimes in this kind of position, Shining Blue Eyes is not really doing that much. and Alan is the one putting pressure. It doesn't seem like these cards are really relevant battle traps, so he's going to be able to just keep attacking. He's at 8,000 and Shining Blues is at 3,000. So making sure that this jar doesn't resolve, even though like it could get Alan in a even better position because it'll draw him 5 new cards, is actually pretty important because Alan, it doesn't mean that Alan's gonna win the game from those 5 cards because Shining Blue Eyes is now going to get 5 cards as well. So it's that Morphing Jar is more likely to get Shining Blue Eyes back into the duel. So yeah, he just sacks his guy and attacks. And Alan sets the Snatch Steal, which, I mean, I guess he is relevant here since this play is about to happen where he calls the Morphing Jar. It's the only target, actually. And there's the Book of Moon that we predicted on turn 1. So yeah, he's just going to probably set his hand then, Shining Blue Eyes. Yeah, he actually sets everything in his hand. So he gives up his normal summon to protect this card from being discarded from Morphing Jar. But he is going to flip the jar up. Then he draws into... Everybody draws 5 new cards. And Alan gets a Pot of Greed here. This is pretty good. Now, this is an interesting play from Shining Blue Eyes, this creature swap play here, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to get an attacker for the... Like, he's trying to get the Thunder Dragon here to be an attacker, and what he's going to try to do with this is that he's going to try to book his own jar, most likely, and then attack into it with Thunder Dragon, right? The problem with this is that Alan could just give him a token instead, and then Alan doesn't have a he just won't be able to actually do that play, and Alan could like keep his hand of 5 cards. So let's see what does happen here. So I think Alan was thinking, okay, well, I have these battle traps face down, and I have like Nobleman in my hand, and so I'm not going to be able to I'm going to be able to protect my guy here. Is it worth giving up a token, or is it better to just give up the Thunder Dragon? I think it's better to just give them a token. If they have a Metamorph, like, I don't think it's the end of the world, because you have he just has a lot to deal with whatever comes down. Like if that is a Metamorph into something, I guess he could Metamorph and then take the attack the Thunder Dragon. But then the play is still kind of the same. And this way you clear a spot, I guess. But maybe he wants to keep the token around. He does have Tribe-Infecting Virus, so he's not like really like itching to clear these spots off. Maybe he just wanted another chump blocker. Yeah, I don't know. I think taking the token might just be the better move here, or giving Shining the token here from the creature swap. Let us know what you guys think. Okay. There's a lot of thinking going on. But yeah, there's the Book of Moon here. And that was from the hand, so he did this play kind of not knowing that... I guess he drew it off the Morphing Jar then, so never mind. Flip that down. Here we go. So, yeah, he's going to try to attack here, but it's going to eat a Sakuretsu armor. And so, a good play would do... He's going to try to get the Heavy Storm, right? Like, that's something that he wants to resolve here. Draw. Not what he was looking for. Now, I don't think Alan necessarily wants to... resolve the Morphing Jar here, just because he does have Pot of Greed, right? So like he Pot of Greeded, and now he's at 7 cards, and his opponent only has 2 cards in the hand. Alan's going to be able to really deal with a lot of the stuff, and some of the stuff that Shining Blue Eyes set here. Like we know, for example, that this card is probably not like a battle trap. It's probably something that he can attack through. And potentially one of the other cards that he set, like either this one or this one here, is a real trap. Like that could be a real trap here. Or this one could be a real trap. So I think it's in Alan's best interest to actually not flip this Morphing Jar up. He might actually want to use Nobleman across out to Nobleman it, just so that it can never get flip face up again. And then maybe like summon something like the Breaker, and then try to break one of the cards that Shining Blue Eyes just set last turn, and hopefully we'll be able to get some value out of this Breaker here. Like maybe if it kills something like a Snatch Steal, that's like pretty good because Shining Blue Eyes thought he was going to resolve that jar, and he was going to keep that Snatch Steal. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Alan's thinking. Okay, so he summons the Breaker first. I guess that's okay. It baits out Torrential, because Torrentialing his field here wouldn't be bad because that means he gets to save the knock. Now that the Morphing Jar is gone again, because I don't think he's going to premature the Morphing Jar again, just so he could book it down. And it gets rid of this down card here. But I don't think that Shining Blue Eyes has a response at all now. Okay. So he's thinking about the target here. He targets one of the cards that was just set, and there's the Snatch Steal. So that's pretty good. That means that the Breaker got pretty good value here. And he does do a Nobleman. I wonder if he Noblemans Shining Blue Eyes this guy. No, he Noblemans the Morphing Jar. Okay. Pretty good. I like the play here. Attacks into the face down. Face down is Gravekeeper Spy. So that's pretty interesting. I think that that Shining Blue Eyes then is just playing like a Go Control list with some tech options here. Stuff like Creature Swap is like a main deck tech option here. And then the Gravekeeper Spy, great option for blocking Air Knights in opposing control matchups. Also gets to thin your deck card. It also helps you float into Air Knight because it creates a body that you can sacrifice for Air Knight. It's also a dark for your BLS. It's a good option. So Alan is thinking here. Wonder what he does. Wonder if he just sets 2 Book of Moons. Maybe he'll set a Torrential and a Book of Moon. Oh, he just sets Torrential here, which is fine, I guess, because like if he flips a Heavy Storm, then this card's not really doing anything, so it is really a 3 for 3. But I wonder if maybe he wouldn't flip the Heavy Storm. I don't think one of those down cards is Heavy Storm. Shining Blue is just thinking here. Decides to pass. Now that's pretty unfortunate because he does have the Tribe here, so he's going to be able to clear those spies. Most likely, because both of his books are gone, it's most likely that he doesn't run the 3rd. So he's going to go ahead. Alan's going to go ahead and try to resolve this. He's going to discard a Book of Moon there for Spellcaster. Gets rid of the Breaker as well. He's just going to try to attack in. Yeah, and I mean, like, this one right here, right next to the call, this trap is the only one that can be real. I mean, potentially the other 2 can be, but it's most likely that this one is the realest trap out of all of them. Or at least, like, chainable thing. And looking at his down cards, I mean, he could still have a Goat left. Isn't very good versus the Tribe, of course. And maybe he's waiting really long for the Sakuretsu Armor. So it's probably not Sakuretsu Armor. It could be Ring of Destruction as well. Maybe he just doesn't want to ring because he doesn't want to take the damage. Well, now he can't really ring because he would take lethal damage and kill himself there. So Shining Blue is in a predicament. Oh, he flips the Lightning Vortex. I guess that's a real one to set. Can actually use it here. Discards BLS. That's pretty interesting. I guess if BLS isn't doing anything because there aren't any lights in your graveyard, then it's a pretty good card to discard. Gets rid of all the stuff. Alan didn't have Book of Moon. If he had Book of Moon face down, what he could have did is booked his own Tribe and then would have been able to flip it back up next turn. Shining Blue Eyes just sets 2. So one of these is most likely like a chainable, probably a Scapegoat. So it's Night Assailant. Yeah, there's a Scapegoat coming out. So end phase, Scapegoat telegraphs that he's got Metamorph. He flips Metamorph over here. Like I said, this was one of the cards that he said initially off of, like, from the first time he flipped Jar. Summons 1,000 Eyes. Book of Moon and 1,000 Eyes. I think he wants to keep the Night Assailant just to have board presence and be able to attack through the goats. Saxon to Jinzo. That's pretty good there. Because they baited the Book of Moon out. Meaning that if they bait the Book of Moon out, then it's something that's like, okay, that's an important card. And now the Mirror Force and the Torrential are totally dead. Thankfully, Alan does have a Snatch Steal. However, if Alan's probably gonna flip that Snatch Steal right up next turn. However, if he doesn't get have a good answer to these tokens, I mean, he's gonna get Shining Blue Eyes out of lethal range here. So we'll see what Alan draws. A Night Assailant coming out of his deck thins his deck an extra card too. Card Destruction's interesting. That could dig him to some possible cards to get rid of the goat tokens here. I guess Alan's just going to take the Jinzo and just attack. Keeping the Duo in the hand is fine. I mean, there's no reason to Duo for one. Because if Shining Blue Eyes can't do anything here, then this Duo becomes really good. And Shining Blue is just thinking for a while. Think. Here's a meta on the second meta on one of the goats. I guess what he was thinking was, should I risk, should I risk just dying to my own Jinzo here because I can't out the Snatch Steal right now, by summoning a Tear and then sucking it up. Now, it's pretty it's looking at Alan's graveyard. I mean, we know that he doesn't have a Book of Moon down. He didn't chain Scapegoat before, so it's most likely that these two cards are trap cards. Just looking at it from Shining's perspective, at least in my opinion, these are two trap cards here. I wouldn't think that it would be the third Book of Moon or anything, and it's probably not something that's going to be negating Snatch Steal, something that he could get rid of his Snatch Steal for. With a Heavy Storm or whatever. I don't think he'd want to give back the Jinzo to his opponent anyway. But you never know. So I think that the correct play here is to actually it's fine to summon the 1,000 Eyes. I guess you could just keep it up in attack. Maybe you want to summon it in defense, but I don't think it's right to suck up the Jinzo here. Because if he sucks up the Jinzo, that makes the traps that Alan has face down live. So if it is something like a Sakura's Armor or Mirror Force, then if you try to attack with 1,000 Eyes, then then you just lose your 1,000 Eyes. What I think would just be better would be to not suck it up and just sit on 1,000 Eyes Restrict while this Snatch Steal has your Jinzo. That way, you're just gaining 1,000 life points every turn. And now you're out of range with Ring of Destruction. It looks like that it's kind of hard to see, but I think that he's got 19 cards left in his deck, so he may be able to deck him out, and he may just be able to get out of life point range for the Ring of Destruction OTKs or something, or for BLS coming down. Now, if he sucks up the Jinzo. Either way, if Alan top decks a Chaos Monster, the card's going away and he's just dying instantly, because then the Chaos Monster gets rid of it and then Jinzo can attack through it or whatever, right? But I still think it's just a bit better to not suck it up, because I think that if he does top deck a Chaos Monster, then and you do have this sucked up, then yeah, you might get a few turns, but I think it's still looking pretty grim. I don't know. Maybe keeping this up and trying to get yourself out of the life point, out of yourself out of an OTK range from your opponent here. So if Alan tries to flip, Torrential, doesn't work out because Jinzo's on the field. But Shining Blue Eyes just actually just takes the card, and it's going to run into this Mirror Force here. Yeah, like I said, I think that it's better just to do the play that I was thinking of. Alan draws into Graceful Charity, draws Saku, or sorry, he doesn't draw Saku. He draws a bunch of monsters: Sagan, Deco, and Merchant. Thinking of what to discard. Alan seems to be doing this thing where he says thinking, or like, oh, I wish there was a level 6 fusion with 24 attack, haha. Thinking that like he could, like mind game his opponent into thinking that, oh, he has a metamorph here. I would never. I don't think I'd buy that ever. That's just me personally. But he said like thinking earlier when he didn't have a chain, indicating that he could have like a Book of Moon or something. So he discards the Deco and the Magical Merchant. I think that's the stronger ones to discard. You could discard the Duo, but I mean, he's pretty much shown you that one of the cards in his hand he's willing to keep in his hand because it's something that he doesn't want to like set, something that he doesn't want to like lose to like a Dust Tornado or something crazy like that. So if he does draw another card like that he doesn't want to lose, then you can just get him with Duo. Might be beneficial to have like another monster, something like a Deco, just to like normal summon it and put pressure on your opponent. But I think he made a fine discard play here. Summons the Sangan, uses Torrential. That I like this play because it clears both the monsters off, and you only lose one card with out of the exchange because your Sangan's going to search the Sinister here. Now what he could do, he could card Destruction. That's what he does. He does card Destruction. So it wasn't Air Knight. He would be able to ship an Air Knight out of the hand with the Delinquent Duo. And BLS is gone, so that's good. Now he draws 3 cards, while his opponent draws 1. That's pretty good. Now what Alan could do, Alan could set both here. I don't see anything wrong with setting both. I mean, he sets the Wing Blast. Okay, that's fine. Oh, he picks it back up. Okay, I guess he was thinking here. Okay, sets the Ring instead. I still think it's fine to set both. Mainly because he's cast Sinister next turn, so even if he doesn't resolve this, he can, like, right away on his opponent's turn, he can use it on his turn, discard Sinister, and then, like, during the standby, use Phoenix Wind Blast, discard Sinister, then during the standby, he can bring Sinister back. So it tempos his opponent out, and he still gets to keep his Sinister here. So Shiny Blue Eye sets his Sinister in a back row. And there's Heavy Storm. Another thing is that like if we know this is Sinister Serpent, right? Like we could set this, and when we draw the Heavy Storm here, and instead of having the ring down, we could have used our like we could have got back the Sinister, used this to put that on top of the deck because then he's just drawing Sinister and then he like Heavy Storms. And then it's like, okay, he draws Sinister off the top. Now, like, I get 2 draws out of it because I have the Dark Mimic that I would have set. And I get to draw for the turn. And we know this is, like, Sinister. So you could, at the very least, summon your own Sinister, attack into it, and then, like, attack for 100 with Dark Mimic. That's if we draw Heavy Storm, obviously. Like, it's kind of hard to predict the top of your deck unless, like, you're looking at it. But... I think like maybe keeping that down or having the option for that was a little bit better. Just because, I mean, we hadn't seen Heavy Storm all game. There's 8 cards left in our deck. That's not bad odds to me, drawing Heavy Storm there. So now he sets the Mimic and the Wing Blast. Now that he has a good play set up with it. Shiny Blue draws a card and passes. And now ACP draws a meta. And then he's thinking during the standby phase. I guess he's doing the play now. He does that. Gets rid of the Sinister there. And you see, if he didn't have this ring set, if he would have just set that the turn before, like committed to setting that card, then this play would have been less awkward. And he draws a card here. Okay. He decides to attack into it. Unfortunate that one of them was a scapegoat here. I guess that's something that... I don't know. Maybe doing it last turn would have been better because then this card gets drawn this turn. You know what I mean? Like, he's drawing Sinister now. But he would have been drawing this card this turn. Either way, I guess we'll get to see what it is. So it was another monster because this card is Sinister Serpent. So I wonder what that monster may be. Guess we might be able to find out here because he might be able to meta. Oh, he's doing it this way. Okay, I think he just can kill his opponent here through pretty much anything, right? Because if he goes, summons BLS. Okay, banish the set monster. Okay, it was Sangan. Yeah, summon the Chaos Sorcerer, and then he's probably, yeah, that makes sense. Attacking through all of the tokens and everything with the small guys. This plays around like something like Mirror Force. I mean, he could just flip Ring at any point here, but okay, there you go. Now you Ring of Destruction. Good game. And that goes to game 2. So Alan is up 1-0. Let's see if Shining Blue Eyes can get back in it. So this is a pretty good opening hand because he's got both Card Destruction and Thunder Dragon. So he's going to be able to, regardless of what his opponent does, because his opponent's like going first here, right? So his opponent's probably going to like T-set again, or maybe even set 2 from his hand. And Alan's just going to get the discard for 6, and that's pretty strong because you don't really care about like when you have like the Thunder Dragon here. I don't think you really care about having Breaker and like Magical Merchant. Okay, so his opponent just sets 1. Yeah, just throws down the Thunder Dragon here. Yeah, all these cards are pretty much not the greatest. Like they're very like reactive cards. This card's not reactive. You'd want to set that, but your opponent already set a card. It's not that great always to like set across from your opponent, unless you're feeling safe. So yeah, I think it's fine to just discard his entire hand. Draw 6. What do we discard from Shining Blue Eyes? So Shining Blue Eyes discard that gets rid of a Graceful Charity. Getting rid of a creature swap is good too. This means that he's not going to be able to try to creature swap and get one of your big Chaos guys. Oh, and Alan draws a Pot of Greed. That's really good. So now he's going to get to start the first turn of the game with 7 cards. And all of the Thunder Dragons are gone out of his deck. So he's loading up his graveyard with lights pretty quickly here. I'm going to banish here. Banish a Gravekeeper's card. Okay. Alan decided to get one as well. That could also be a tell. Alan might have decided in Spies of his own. Or he could have decided in something like Mind Control so that if he takes the Spy, he can actually flip it and then like resolve the Spy's effect. So Alan sets a Night Assailant here. This is good. I like setting the Night Assailant over the Faith right away because that means that if he did draw a knock or something to deal with it, you're not getting your Faith banished because you already have a good loaded up grave. Like you have Pot of Greed already, and if you need meta or the knock again, you have access to that. You don't want to really lose it either. And plus, you already have Book of Moon too, so you could like flip it up and then Book of Moon it face down. Shiny Blue Eyes just sets across and then sets 2. That's going to take care of Sangan here when he flips the Night Assailant up. Search a Position of Faith. So that's a tell that his opponent has Sinister Serpent in his hand. And that's where you'd probably want to set Faith here, because if you know that your opponent has Sinister, they might just set it next turn. And this way you can flip the Faith and get back Nobleman if they set across from you. So Shiny Blue summons the Magician of Faith here. Maybe he realized that he made a misplay, or strange. So Alan is thinking on the play. So Alan uses Book of Moon, probably doing his own Night Assailant here. Yeah, to just get rid of it. Wait a minute. He didn't have a Book of Moon there. So does... Wait a second. Does he have BLS? That's pretty... It's pretty sneaky if he does. Let's see here. This takes the 200. Phase 2. Well, I mean, like, he has the Ring of Destruction, right? So, I guess, I mean, BLS isn't the worst thing here. He's throwing away his BLS pretty early, though. If that was the play that he was going for. That's kind of a sign of, like, a weak hand if you're throwing away your BLS early like that. Oh my god, he actually did have BLS. So yeah, just summons BLS here. I mean, he's going to be able to use priority and banish the Magician of Faith. Then end the turn there, just sit on BLS, make you deal with it. And Alan top decks Heavy Storm, which is really good here because he's going to be able to heavy and then pass any chains. I guess... This is actually difficult because if Alan decides to activate Heavy and then pass the like the priority back to Shining, Shining could possibly not do anything, and then Alan can't respond with Ring of Destruction, I believe. So we'll see here what happens. So he does Heavy Storm. And then Shining Blue Eyes just immediately flips Ring of Destruction. Okay. So that works out for Alan because that really works out for Alan then. So he's targeting the Night Assailant because he's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to get value out of that by just getting the Night Assailant here. And now Alan's going to use his own Ring of Destruction to get rid of the BLS. So they're both taking 32. And all these other cards are going away. That's a Metamorph and a Saccharet Survivor. So those are pretty good hits. And then Alan's fine with just setting the Mirror Force here. There's no reason to set the Metamorph. Ooh, that's a good one. That's going to force the Mirror Force out because Thousand Eyes Restrict can't actually deal with this card very well. It can sit in front of it, but doesn't do anything to it. Alan draws the Sangan here. I think it just summons Sangan, attack, and pass. Because you've already showed that this card is valuable to you because you didn't want to set it, right? I guess you could bluff set Metamorph, but I don't like really doing that when you already have the Sinister in your hand. But I guess he just sets it anyway. Here comes Shiny Blue's own Chaos Sorcerer, so that's pretty good. Excuse me. And he sets in response. And here you go. There's the meta for it. Because I mean, I don't know if Alan knew that Shining was going to side into a Chaos Sorcerer of his own. But like potentially something that could have happened here was Alan's, like, he could have used Breaker first, like use the Breaker to break the face down there, and then use Chaos Sorcerer to get rid of the Saccharet or the Sangan there, and that would have been really strong for Shining Blue Eyes. Then Then Alan would have been just left with a Sinister Serpent and then been drawing off the top, and he would have had to deal with a Breaker and a Chaos Sorcerer. I mean, the likelihood of Shining Blue Eyes having Breaker, though, at least at this stage of the game, not that high, but it's something to consider. Well, we don't want to look at the extra deck. So 1,000 Extra Strike takes this guy. Oh, it gets Morphing Jar. That's going to be better for Alan, I think. Mainly because it's still his turn. But he decides just to not go off with Graceful here and to just set Scapegoat. That's fine. Because he's getting the Sinister next turn, so. Alan asking, am I dead? Which, I mean, he possibly could be. If Shining Blue is such a heavy storm, that makes it awkward for Alan because he wants to flip the Scapegoat up, but Scapegoat doesn't always protect you from OTKing. Shining Blue is just thinking there, so he set a card. Set his whole hand. Okay. So Alan's going to get back Sinister here. He says, second Morphing Jar set? Pretty funny. Okay, so he gets to draw. I think his best discards are, I mean, one, it's probably going to be the Sinister Serpent, and then I think Dark Mimic is the next best one. You can make a case for Duo because he set his hand here, but you maybe want to keep on to the Duo because he did set his hand here, so if he ever draws the 2 and he can't activate one of these cards down there, then you can get him with Duo. So I think he's discarded Mimic. Yeah, he discarded Mimic. Got rid of Sinister here, and now he has Tsukiyomi. So I mean, if one of those cards is not Torrential Tribute, then we're in for the long haul here. So Alan's not going to show us what it is he? Because he knows the card. They have different sleeves. So yeah, this is what Alan wants. He set his whole hand, and he wants him to draw, not activate any cards from his hand, so he can duo him. That was a Magician of Faith, so what could he have gotten back? I guess Creature Swap, maybe. I don't think Creature Swap would have got him there, especially with the Scapegoat. Maybe the Graceful is what he was really looking for. But setting his whole hand and then trying to flip Faith into Graceful, that's a little weird when you set your whole hand. Maybe he was really wanted the meta. That, or he had nothing to do and was just setting his whole hand trying to bluff it into something. Although it's not really a bluff if there's ever a Magician of Faith face down. So attack with Tsukiyomi. Put pressure on his opponent. Yeah, flip our friend Thousand Eyes Restrict back up. And then what do we set here? Mind Control. Yeah, we don't need to set the second goat. We're just going to discard Sinister this turn. And then Shining Blue Eyes just draws and passes. So this is where we're going to get him with our Delinquent Duo. And we got Lightning Vortex and Mirror Force. Now those are great because now we know that he doesn't have Mirror Force face down. And Lightning Vortex is actually like pretty good versus our deck because we do try to summon a lot. Like face up, it could have got rid of the 1,000 Eyes Restrict if we wanted it. Like especially in like this Chaosy control kind of deck. Like if we put out a Chaos Sorcerer, just him like Lightning Vortex plus a Sinister is just a 1-card answer to it. And that's pretty strong. So he's discarding again. So he draws into the Mystical Space Typhoon. He's going to... Oh, he flipped the Mystical Space Typhoon. Going to hit the Mind Control here. I mean, I guess that's alright. Ooh, he drew the Pot of Greed. I think like you'd rather hit the Scapegoat, but... Oop, I didn't need to fast forward. Oops, let's pause. Okay, so... Yeah, both rings are gone, so flipping up the Premature Burial here is fine. Gets back BLS. Yeah, that's important. Pass Prio? Okay, so he must have like some sort of battle trick that he's going to try to do. He's not banishing this right away. I think Alan's going to be able to survive this turn, though, just because he's going to be able to chump block with Scapegoat, with whatever Shining Blues is trying to do here. He's thinking real hard. Summon Spy. So one of these cards must be Book of Moon, right? Yeah, we haven't seen one yet, so one of them has to be Book of Moon. Yeah, there's the book. And then chain the Book of Moon, target... Okay, get Air Knight back. He didn't use Torrential yet. Not having Mirror Force is good for Shining Blows. He's trying to win the game right here. Attack. So you can make it. You could potentially Book a Moon this one, right? Because if you Book a Moon the Air Knight, that means you're not taking 19, and your opponent's not drawing a card. I think them not drawing a card is more important than you not taking the 19 in this situation, mainly because they have a lot of stuff on the board, and I mean they're just trying to kill you this turn. But you're going to be able to survive just by like having Scapegoat. Where's Scapegoat here? And Alan here has Tribe-Infecting Virus. He also has Snatch Steal. So on his follow-up turn, he's going to be able to do something powerful and potentially just win the game that turn, or at least try to get his opponent to exhaust all of his outs, right? Because his opponent only has 2 cards, and he's going to need to deal with the 2 cards that he's got in Tribe-Infecting Virus and Snatch Steal. So I don't know. Maybe not letting it go through is fine, because then he'll get the 3rd card, and then he has 3 cards in your potential 2 that he's trying to get through. What else could happen here? I mean, we don't know what Alan's going to draw either. And he has another Scapegoat down. So he is going to be able to chump block a little bit more, just by the nature of just having the 2nd Scapegoat. So I don't know if it's necessarily a bad move to use the Book of Moon here, because you can attack through it. You can just use the Tribe to get rid of the thing here. And then, I mean, if he does have like a Sacrifice Armor, then Tribe still just kills the Air Knight through attacking it. So that's good. So let's see what happens. So he's thinking about the battle phase here. And Alan just decides to take it. I don't know, because this 3rd card here could potentially be the something that Alan will lose the duel on. Okay, he goes and flips it up, and then okay, Shining decides not to attack. That's fine, because this way that, like, if he does have a Snatch Steal, that means that, like, if he has to take the BLS, and it's probably like Sacrifice or Armor or something. I don't know. We'll see. He sets that card. So yeah, now he's showing that he has. I have 2 possible outs to whatever you got. Okay, here's Chaos Sorcerer. So here's the thing. Like, yeah, like Shining Blue now has a 2, but I think to minimize the risk of him having like a 3rd option, to like prevent you from breaking his board here, I think it might have been better just to Book a Moon this. So what is Alan going to do? I think the best play here is to try to use Tribe first, because that, I mean, whatever, like, you could call Warrior here and just like try to get rid of this Blackluster Soldier. Yeah, it does that. Okay, and he's using Torrential. I guess he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna lose to it anyway. Might as well just Torrential here. There's the normal summon down, and then here's Chaos Sorcerer. Goes ahead and attacks. And yeah, guess it was nothing. Yeah, so pretty good duel. When all said and done. I think that again, that last play there, I think it would have just been better for Alan to Book of Moon this, because yeah, then he wouldn't have took the damage, and he wouldn't have gave his opponent a chance to draw something that could block his Chaos Sorcerer play here, or potentially block like the Snatch deal that was coming, right? Because I think like what does he have? He's got the like a Scapegoat left, right, and a Book of Moon left. So what potentially, if like that wasn't Torrential Tribute or something, like he could use the Tribe-Infecting Virus, clear both BLS and then the Gravekeeper Spy, and then he could even clear his own Sinister Serpent, or clear his own, what's it called? His goat tokens here. And he actually could keep going, because if he discarded the Night Assailant, he could just get back the other Night Assailant. So he just had like a free discard for the entire like between Sinister Serpent and the Night Assailant that was already in his hand for his Tribe-Infecting Virus. So I think that just the play here was for Shining Blue Eyes is like, okay, well, he's going to be able to kill me just by clearing all my stuff with Tribe-Infecting Virus. I guess I have to use Torrential here, and that just gave Alan the right away, where he's like, oh, well, if he just used Torrential there, then this card's probably nothing, and just summon the Chaos Sorcerer anyway. But I mean, you're probably just summoning the Chaos Sorcerer anyway, even if that card is something, just so that your opponent gets out. And I could see Alan's like thought process, where if I didn't Book of Moon that, then he wouldn't be dead. Or if I did Book of Moon that, then he wouldn't be dead. But I mean, it was Torrential anyway, so I don't know. Maybe it was the right play all along. I just think Book of Mooning might have been better in the long run. Just to play around the most options. But yeah, so that was Alan versus Shining Blue Eyes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out goatformat.com for all your goat format needs. And join our Discord server. We have a ladder that you can play other members of the server on, which you can actually get up in the rankings. I believe Alan is ranked number 1 currently of this recording, and Shining Blue Eyes was in the top 10 and is definitely a contender for top 10 on the ladder. So yeah, thanks for watching.